In a quiet suburb of San Antonio, police entered a home that looked ordinary from the outside, but what they found inside would haunt them forever. On the laundry room floor lay a 10-year-old boy, frail, bruised, and motionless. His name was Michael Miranda. The people accused of taking his life were not strangers, not criminals from the street. They were his adoptive parents, Jonathan and Christina Miranda. What began as a welfare check quickly turned into one of the most disturbing child abuse cases in Texas history. This is the story of how a little boy's cries went unheard, and how two adults who promised him love delivered only horror. Welcome to Echoes of Crimes, where we uncover the darkest mysteries, the most shocking crimes, and the chilling truths that hide in plain sight. From cold cases and unsolved mysteries to the crimes making headlines right now, nothing is off limits. Every detail, every twist, every chilling clue, we bring it all to light. So lock your doors, dim the lights, and get ready, because what you're about to hear may keep
Jonathan
and Christina Miranda appeared to be the picture of stability. A married couple raising multiple children in San Antonio. Neighbors described them as polite, church-going, and quiet. Years earlier, they had opened their home to adoption, a decision that should have been filled with compassion. That's when they met Michael, a shy, small boy who had already endured instability in his young life. The Mirandas promised the state they would provide him with care, structure, and love. But behind closed doors, that promise turned into a nightmare. Investigators later discovered that the Miranda household was anything but normal. Behind the walls of that suburban home, Michael was living in constant fear. According to court documents and sworn statements from other children, Michael was routinely beaten, starved, and confined. The other kids told police that Michael was locked inside a filthy laundry room, forced to sleep on the floor, and denied food as punishment. The room reeked of mildew, clutter, and neglect, a space no child should ever call home. Neighbors reported hearing thuds and yelling, but assumed it was typical family noise. No one could have imagined the abuse unfolding just a few feet away. On the night of Michael's death, Jonathan Miranda called 911, claiming his son was unresponsive. Paramedics rushed to the scene, but it was already too late. They found Michael's thin, malnourished body on the floor, surrounded by filth and evidence of long-term neglect. First responders were horrified. One officer later told reporters, "It's something you can't unsee." At just 10 years old, Michael's body weighed far less than it should have. His arms and legs were covered in old bruises and fresh wounds. Investigators could tell this wasn't a single night of abuse. It was years of torture. Detectives spent days gathering evidence. They photographed the laundry room, stained walls, dirty bedding, and a small bowl of water on the floor. The scene told a story of prolonged cruelty. As investigators questioned the other children in the home, the truth began to unfold. They said Michael was often forced to stand for hours, denied meals, and hit with belts, cords, and fists. Sometimes he was left alone for so long that he soiled himself. Detective statements described the environment as torturous and inhumane. Within days, both Jonathan and Christina Miranda were arrested and charged with capital murder of a child under 10, a charge that carries the possibility of life imprisonment or the death penalty in Texas. The tragedy raised painful questions. How did a child adopted through official channels fall through every safety net? Child welfare experts pointed to gaps in the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Overworked caseworkers, rare home visits, and limited follow-up after adoption finalization. Neighbors said they rarely saw Michael outside. He didn't play, didn't attend birthday parties, and never seemed to smile. One neighbor said, "We just thought he was shy." The case reignited a statewide conversation about child protection reform, adoption oversight, and mandatory welfare checks. Lawmakers vowed to review the system that allowed Michael to suffer unnoticed. San Antonio residents were devastated. Within days, vigils appeared outside the Miranda home, candles, flowers, and signs reading, "Justice for Michael." People who never knew the boy came to pray, to cry, and to demand answers. Social media pages filled with anger and heartbreak. Commenters called the Mirandas monsters and questioned how anyone could do this to their own child. In life, Michael had no voice. In death, his story became a rallying cry, a reminder that child abuse often hides in plain sight. Both Jonathan and Christina Miranda have pleaded not guilty. Their attorneys claim they never intended harm, and that Michael's death was a tragic accident. Prosecutors strongly disagree, pointing to a mountain of physical evidence and witness statements. The Bexar County District Attorney's Office has confirmed they are pursuing capital murder charges, and the case could head to trial in the coming months. If convicted, the Mirandas face either life without parole or the death penalty, punishment reserved for the most heinous crimes. For investigators and the public alike, this case is not just about punishment, it's about accountability, reform, and making sure Michael's suffering was not in vain. Michael Miranda was 10 years old, a child who loved cartoons, peanut butter sandwiches, and dreamed of being a firefighter. He was supposed to find safety in adoption. Instead, he found torment. Today, his name lives on in conversations about reform, awareness, and justice, because no child should ever die unseen, unheard, or unloved. If you suspect a child is being abused, don't stay silent. Contact the National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-422-4453. You could save a life.